Okay, we're now live. Hi, everybody. I did get a haircut since last week, in case you didn't notice, but I didn't comb my hair, I think, is a problem. Anyway, hope everyone is doing well. It's August 27th. Hard to believe it's the end of August. You feel like you need to go back to school or finish your summer job, though none of us are going back to school and none of us have summer jobs, but whatever. Hope everything is okay as we reach into the September. Still 4 weeks of summer, but somehow September and Labor Day come quickly and things escalate very quickly. We are working away in our lab. We have a lot of new people, a lot of new computer people. We're working on some great projects and we're very excited. In terms of pancreatic cancer early detection, I think, one can argue and say, well, if you have early detection, but you can't treat the patients, what good is it? And you saw from Revolution Medicine their new drug. It has a new name. It's called KRAD something, but it was approved officially by the FDA yesterday. Really good results. And the original presentation, patients who failed other therapies, where survival was about 6 months, survival here was about 14 months. It's a pill and it's a KRAS inhibitor. About 85% of pancreatic cancers have KRAS positive. KRAS is also seen in some colon cancers and lung cancers, so there may be ways of helping that. Whether things like Keytruda will also help. The big thing is it's the first real drug ever dedicated for pancreatic cancer and KRAS inhibitors. So very exciting, and Revolution Medicine is the company that has done it. So we'll see, and hopefully it'll keep getting better and better. I think there is an issue with recurrence after a certain amount of time. Like most chemotherapies, their protection wears out. So the question is, how do we figure out how to do what's next? But I see a number of patients now who were unresectable, get the KRAS inhibitor, and they become resectable. And so a lot of promise. And we are working hard on early detection of pancreatic cancer. And perhaps I'll make that a topic one week and we'll share it with you. In terms of gastric tumors, I'm working on the end of year, the last talks for December, because we have to do things way in advance. And it's on gastric tumors, so I have a 4 or 5 part adventure. I have about 280 slides. I haven't recorded it yet, so you never know when you record exactly how long things are, but it'll either be 4 or 5 parts. If it's 4 parts, I'll have something else to record, but we are working through the end of the year. In terms of gastric masses, things to remind people, protocols, everything. Good gastric distension, typically water, IV contrast, dual phase, 4 to 5 cc's per second injection rate. What are we looking for? Thickening of the gastric wall above 5 millimeters, let's say. We look at enhancement as well. You talk about some tumors are vascular, like a gastrinoma, might be very vascular with multiple polypoid lesions. We talk about adenocarcinoma, which can involve a short segment or the entire stomach, wall thickening, focal or diffuse. We talk about spread with local nodes, ascites, carcinomatosis, pseudomyxoma peritonei, and the like. We talk about more bulky involvement, lymphoma, with paraortic adenopathy, which can be extensive. Lymphoma also used to talk about 5 centimeter or greater masses, but often it can be smaller. We pick it up earlier. Multi-organ involvement, not just stomach, but liver, spleen, adenopathy, potentially kidneys, are all things that we will see. We talk about GIST tumors, which are typically exophytic masses from several centimeters to 20 centimeters. We're writing a paper on that now. GIST tumors can ulcerate, so they can bleed. They can be intraluminal only, mainly they're extraluminal, and a lot of them are mixed intra and extraluminal, but the extraluminal component is the largest. They're treated, resected, and chemotherapy. With chemotherapy, typically what you will see is the lesions become more cystic. Spread of GIST tumors, adenopathy, also to liver. GIST tumors are one of the things that will give you cystic liver metastasis, so that's important to remember. We talk about mets to the stomach. The classic thing is linitis plastica from breast cancer, But other cancers, ovarian cancer, can do it. Remember, stomach can go to ovary, ovary can go to stomach. We talked about Krugenberg tumors. We see mets from renal cell carcinoma. They're typically hypervascular. Sometimes the differential between benign and malignant tumors in the stomach is tricky. We see big Brunner's glands. We see ectopic pancreas. We see submucosal type tumors, which can be very vascular, like a glomus tumor. So there's lots of things we can see in the stomach. It's important to really come up with a good differential diagnosis. Endoscopy is typically how things are diagnosed officially with biopsy, but you want to be really certain what you're dealing with. You want to be able to look for ulcerations or perforation. You want to be able to distinguish benign from malignant. Not everything causing wall thickening in the stomach is malignant. It could be just an ulcer with local inflammation, so that indeed becomes important. And when you listen to my talk, you'll see the range of tumors we talk about, the range of appearances, and the things you need. Gastric cancer is not as common in the US as it is in some countries like Japan. And in countries like Japan, you need to be really careful looking at every stomach for subtle gastric cancer. We don't see it that commonly for an incidental gastric cancer, but we can. I think the biggest challenge we have is protocol. If the stomach is not well distended, you'll overcall or undercall depending on who's reading the study. So I think it's very important. And with that, I think I'll stop there. I look forward to you looking at our lecture, letting you know what you think about it. Also important, we have a lot of really good cases on the teaching file at CTisus. There are other lectures on inflammatory disease in the stomach that have been put up in the last few months, so you can look at that in the short term. And with that, I wish everybody a great day, and I'm going back to read some films. See you later.